She's back. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. We are the right side. And while she adjusts whatever just fell off underneath our feet, we're also excited to tell you. Allison, are you good? Because I cannot introduce the congressman until you're sitting up.
I mean, why does it have to happen today? I should just go back to the keys.
No.
I'm already messing things up.
No, you're not. The gang's all here. And so that
back.
means, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome for the first time to our show, Congressman Barry Moore. Good morning, sir. How are you? We good?
We should be.
Okay.
We're going to try this again. Hold on.
Trying it again.
It's not me.
No, it's
not you. It's me. It might be me.
I mean, do you ever remember
Did this happen while I was gone?
No,
we're going to call him back. We're going to call him back real quick.
Leave. Get out. Okay. So until then, let me tell you what we're going to do today. We have our interview with Congressman Moore, candidate for the Senate. We're going to talk about all things related to the race and how it's going, different questions we have. Then we have a montage. Then we have Clown World. Also, before that, we have our interview with Caitlin Bussey and the Bussey Brief. So these next 100 and basically 18 minutes are going to fly by. 2 hours, packing it all in on a Friday, bringing you our best. But to kick off the very best, we have Congressman Barry Moore. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing fine. Great to be on with you guys.
We're so happy you're here. Thank you so much. We want to just kick it off with one of the first things that we learned about you on Tuesday night. It's been out there. It's been talked about. But we would love for people to understand your Liberty score and what that means and who scores it, because that's a big deal.
Yeah, so Liberty Score is a composite of the conservative groups that kind of track how you vote. And the way they do it is based on what am I doing to protect your liberty and freedoms. And so Coach is a 95 and I'm a 96. We're very close, two of the highest Liberty scores in the nation. But I see my number one job as protecting people's liberty as your member. And so I've always voted for the people's liberty and the freedom. And so, we're always honored to have those scores and just vote our convictions. And so there are a lot of great people that are in the fight. But those third-party groups that score, they don't have a span. They don't have a bias. They just put the numbers out there. And so, yeah, having the highest Liberty score in the delegation, one of the highest in the nation, we're honored to do that. And I think that's my job. And it seems like the scorecard, I'm getting an A+.
Very good.
I've been in the keys for a week, so I'm really out of the loop. Like, y'all are going to tell me what's been going on. But one of the things that hasn't gone away is the Save America Act and kind of people still asking for that. I don't think you're in DC today, but what are you hearing? What's going to happen? Are we going to see that at all? And what's your stance on what needs to happen, specifically with the filibuster?
Yeah, so I've been a proponent, as the president is, as coaches, we have to nuke the filibuster. The Dems are not going to give us the 7 or 8 votes we need to actually verify who's voting in U.S. elections. And without that, they can cheat. And it's not just enough to have an ID, because California issues everybody IDs and they let them vote with them. So we need to verify that you're in fact a U.S. citizen voting in U.S. elections for U.S. leadership. And so that's my position. The reason it is my position is because, again, the Dems they're not going to allow us to pass the Save America Act, even if it's polling to 80% among their base. 78% of those folks in the Democratic Party want U.S. citizens electing U.S. leaders. The Democrats ran the narrative of foreign interference in elections, Russian collusion, crossfire hurricane, all the things they did to attack President Trump, his team of people. And so the true foreign interference is elections when you have non-U.S. citizens electing U.S. leaders. And so we have to move the filibuster, guys, because the only two people that kept the Dems from doing it, Schumer wanted to do it, and it was Manchin and Sinema. They're both gone. And it's naive to think that when the Democrats get control of the Senate, and whenever that happens, that they won't nuke it and drive a far-left agenda. And so to codify President Trump's 350 executive orders, to make sure that we have the Save America Act, the thing that is polling 80% among the people in this country, we're going to have to nuke the filibuster. And if we don't think they won't. We've never arrested a president in the prior history of this nation. We've never indicted a president. We've never raided their homes. They've done so many things that are off the reservation, off the ledge on this, that the thing they won't make the filibuster to maintain power is simply naive on our part.
That's such a good point. And it's really hard for people to understand that. They mean what they say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have to believe them when they say it, right? If they say they're going to do something, they tell you who they are. You just watch what they've been doing. And so the weaponization and what they've done to Trump in the first 4 years and what they'll do to this country, given the opportunity, there are no limits. And they'll make D.C. a state. They'll get 2 more senators from there. They'll start doing things they can to maintain power. It's not about the people. If it was, this thing would already be voted out of the Senate. We voted it out of the House. But it's really about how do they maintain power, and keeping people who are not U.S. citizens voting in U.S. elections is a play by the Democratic Party.
So you are in D.C. part of something that's really important to us, and that is the Anti-Sharia Caucus. And you are all about anti-Sharia bills. Can you talk to us about that for a minute?
Yeah, and even when I was in the state legislature in 2012, I said, we've got to stop Sharia law in America. We need to start in Alabama. And we started working that process. But as you watch what's going on in Europe, and London has fallen, Paris has fallen, and I'm told you can't get 30-year money in those cities now because they don't think they're going to be around. And so what happens, you got 57 Muslim countries. Those folks, though, are not coming here to assimilate. That Sharia is a law that does not align with the Constitution of the United States of America. And so it's a spiritual battle for the future of the country, guys. And that is the line as well drawn. And there's no way you have Islam and trans on the same side of an issue unless it's a spiritual battle. And so we have got to stop Sharia. It's getting its toeholds in different parts in the country. And we see it in Texas right now. Greg Abbott is battling it. We've seen it in New York. We see it in Minneapolis, where these people come. They're not here to assimilate. They're not here to embrace our culture, our traditions, our religion. They're here to come in. It's an invasion to change the very fabric of our nation. And so I was one of the first people. Keith Self, a member from Texas, he's in House Freedom Caucus with me, former Green Beret. He's been around the world. He's seen this stuff. And that is a huge concern. And so he founded the Sharia Free Caucus. And I was one of the first guys in the country to get on that with him, because I see that as the future battle line. And we're not looking that far down the horizon. That is going to be an issue that's going to be a problem for this nation if we don't address it now and we don't wake up to what it is.
Yeah, that's, I think, takes a lot of courage. I know a lot of members of Congress were hesitant because they don't want to be seen as mean or unkind or unwelcoming. And it's like, no, at some point you have to draw a line in the sand of what is compatible and what isn't. So hats off to you for that. And I feel like more members are joining by the day, which is encouraging and really good to see. I'm curious, you are one of the few that I saw come out to ask for and say, hey, we need to do a 7-0 map. I do not know why this message was not coming out of Montgomery, but here we are. We may be stuck with 5-2. I'm curious your thoughts on where we end up and what we need to do from here. You used to be in the Alabama legislature. What do you think happens?
Yeah, so I'm one of the members of Congress, probably one of the few in the nation, that my congressional district in 3 terms has been redrawn twice. I was a victim of that system where a holder sued. It's funny, they sued all the red states, but none of the blue states. And so the thing that we have to understand is Alabama is going to be put in a position to wherever Illinois, New York, California, Virginia dictate policies to us through the federal government because they redrew districts to take power. These congressional districts are a huge part of the battle. And so it's important. I mean, up the Northeast coast, you got 9 states that Trump had 36 to 48% of the vote in. They have 0 congressional members. So the Democrats are way ahead of us on this. They've been doing it they're winning the battle on redistricting. So it's vitally important that Ruby Red Alabama stays in the fight to get 7-0, not because they maybe feel good about that or whatever that looks like, guys. But I'm telling you, we are going to be the victims of our own demise if we don't step up and fix this. And so in Virginia, I saw it a few weeks ago. Thank goodness their court threw it out. We literally have 6 Democrats and 5 Republicans currently in the Congress from Virginia. They drew a 10-1 map, 10 Dems, 1 Republican, and they're going to stand on the gas, and we just have to fight these lawsuits. We can't be intimidated. We can't worry about what they call us. It's vitally important for our children and grandchildren that we have a say in the fight, and we do what we can to do our part.
Do you have an opinion as to why there's been such pushback for us to even think of having a 6-1 map, let alone a 7-0?
My gut is that we have a lot of Democrats that have changed parties over the year in Alabama, and they're not they're not the true conservative populist people. The president, make America first, make America great narrative. They're more about going along the old guard, business as usual. And this is a time in the nation, the 250th anniversary. We have a chance, and the Declaration of Independence said you have opportunities to remake your government. And I think often we're looking at Donald Trump as probably the greatest president in my lifetime, for sure in my lifetime. 250th anniversary of this nation, and we have an opportunity to fix what's wrong with this country, but we cannot rest on our laurels, and we can't trust the old guard to do it. We've got to charge ahead.
I do think that's such a good point, kind of with where we are in America. Like the rules of the game have changed. And I say all the time that the left kind of broke that social compact of like, we play fair. And so when that happens, you have to be willing to put yourself out there and do the hard things and play to win, whatever that may be, Sharia law, redistricting. I totally agree with you on that one. So real quickly, one thing that came up online from a listener, they were asking your stance on term limits. And I know you've spoken about that before, but what are your thoughts on term limits in Congress? Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I signed the term limits pledge every year, and I literally served 2 terms in the state legislature and walked away from government. And, I did my 2 terms, went back to my business, and then the president's team asked us to run for Congress. And so I've been in D.C. 5.5 years, the same amount of time that Donald Trump has been there. We're there the exact same amount of time. And so I walked away from 2 guaranteed reelects. So, guys, I could have ran for 1st Congressional District and stayed there for a long time. But when the president asked us to step up, so I am well within compliance. I think if the term limits bill that we pass right now it's going to be 3 terms in Congress and 2 in the U.S. Senate. And so I'm finishing up my 3rd term in Congress, and I walked away from that. And so, but I do say this for your listeners is, we need to put a limit on how long lobbyists can operate too. There needs to be a limit on contract lobbyists, because what happens if you totally transform and take out all the members of the Congress and the Senate and the lobbyists stick around, then they're going to lead them around by the nose. And we're not going to get good policy for the American people. But absolutely, I think that term limits are a good thing. And used to, people didn't stay up there forever. And I don't understand why anybody would. Honestly, it's a calling, you go in and you do the fight. But, my favorite day is, like Coach said, my favorite day is flying home to Alabama of the week, and the worst day of the week is flying to D.C. But there are times in our life that we have to be willing to step up. And when the president asks you to step up and help him in the Senate, I'll do a couple of terms in the fight, but I'll stay well within the term limits pledge.
I say I have a proposal, and I just thought about this. If we add lobbyists, we should add all the staffers too, because my word.
You heard it here first,
Yeah,
folks.
I think that would work.
So,
I will say most of the staffers is up there. They rotate a lot through offices. They're young, a lot of them, and you got to be young to keep the pace. But they really do. I mean, it's like a revolving door, and they move around. But you do have to make sure you surround yourself with staffers who are like-minded and aligned and really conservative, because they see a lot of bills, they see a lot of things, and they can red flag something for you, or hey, sir, you need to be on this. So yeah, I don't think it's a problem with staffers, but because guys, they don't stay there a long time. There's some chiefs that stay a long time, but to become a chief, you got to be there a minute. But I certainly the lobbyists. And I can't say that I hate the idea on the staff, but I don't see them getting there and staying there for a long time. At least my experience in 5.5 years on the Hill.
So let's just quickly catch us up on what you have 20 days, 19 days left in this period.
I think it's 18. Not that anybody's counting, but I think it's 18 days.
I figure by now you'd be counting maybe down to the minute. But how is it going? And are you hearing the same thing from your voters that you did during the primary?
Yeah, it's going really well. We won 71% of the counties in the state, and out of 67 counties, the ones we didn't win, we only came in 3rd in 3 of the 67. So we were either 1st and 2nd in just all of that 64 counties across the state of Alabama. And as I talked to folks, we got Rodney Walker's endorsement, we got Seth Burton, former Navy commander, we got Morgan Murphy, former Navy commander's endorsements. So we're seeing a lot of coalescing behind our effort, and so we're pleased with what we're hearing. We're going to run through the tape, as I tell everybody, and try not to pull a hamstring between here and the finish line.
It's a whole thing when you get old.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Believe me, I've tried. It ain't no fun.
Hey, real quickly before we let you go, where can people find out about your campaign, donate, learn more about you, website, social media? Where can they find you?
Yeah, BarryMooreForAlabama.com is kind of our website. You can go there and you can click the links and see what's going on in the social media world and see where we're at. And we're in Tuscaloosa today, actually, guys. So on the road, been on the road for a few days now. I'm actually having to buy clothes. We're doing laundry and buying clothes because we're at a point we're living in a Tahoe right now. But it's okay. We're going to get there.
Well,
oh my goodness.
It's not Auburn, but Tuscaloosa, I guess, is better than DC. So congratulations on your day.
Any place is better than DC, guys.
Congressman Barry Moore, thanks so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. Have a great day. Thank you.
Yeah, God bless you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, then.
We did it.
All right.
I'm glad. JP, I'm sorry if I messed you up. Did I mess up something on the front end with when I was messing with the box?
Oh, no. When I called him back, he goes, can y'all hear me now?
Okay.
So I think he was trying to, he made
Okay.
Bluetooth
All right.
or something.
I just was like, I probably should just leave and go back home.
Don't leave. Yay.
You just got here.
All right,
just got here.
That was great information. There were some things that I didn't know, but my brain can't let go of this idea of not just term limits, but limits on lobbyists.
I think
and
that's so
staffers.
Well, I mean,
Not
I get
staffers
well,
necessarily, but
I do
lobbyists.
get my point with staffers was like staffers, the staff basically runs the offices.
That's
and
right.
you can have, if you surround yourself with good staff, you can be efficient, you can do some amazing things. And if you get some biscuits in there, well, then we don't get to nuke the filibuster.
Right.
And
right.
It's frustrating. So yeah, there's so much turnover. I don't know if it's really a term limit thing, but my goodness, make sure to anybody that goes to DC, just surround yourself, even Montgomery, surround yourself with good people. Maybe put a sign up that says no lobbyists.
Listen, at some point in my husband's career, he feels like, I love you, drug reps. Hear me when I say this. But most of them, there's no time for them anymore because they're lobbying for their drug, as they should. But you come to a point where you're like, I'm so sorry. I'll see you outside of work, but not here because I'm doing my work. I think a sign that says no lobbyists would be great. No one would be sad
because
about
there's some
that.
good lobbyists. There's some good issues.
Yes.
I mean, like when we talk about the White Rose Resistance and Eagle Forum and some great organizations that lobby for really good things. There's some really corrupt, really bad ones that probably you shouldn't let in your office. Although if you go in, well, no, I won't say that.
Well, it's like anything, even in the church, there are wolves. And so many of them they've woven themselves into the fabric so we don't even realize what they're doing until it's too late. And so you're right, there are good lobbyists. And we're going to be talking to one next week off air about an opportunity to do some good things. But mainly we see the negative effects of what they do, and we need to rein them in.
There's a little too much control. I like that idea, though, that he had.
I think it's great. Yay. Okay, so now, because we're doing the show in reverse, how was your trip?
It was really, really good. 8 days is a long time to be away. And Lord, it was so, okay, so we had the election, everything went down, and then I left the next morning at 6 a.m. And for somebody like me, that was painful. Like I had nobody to talk to. Jared Sinclair hates politics, doesn't want to talk about it. It was just like, my kids are so annoyed with me, and everybody just wanted to go do like pickleball and cornhole and hacky sack, which by the way, we played hacky sack. We hackeyed several times. I did not know. Have y'all ever played the actual game of hacky sack, or did Jennings just make this up?
No, my boys in high school played.
Do you know what the rules are?
No.
Well, Jennings
kick with your feet, right?
Oh, no, Jennings could have made this up. So, okay, so somebody has the little sack, the little hacky sack, and they throw it, and you have to let it bounce off your chest, and then you hit the ball with your foot 3 times. And then after the 3rd time, you have to catch the hacky sack. And then this is the part I'm not sure if it's true. You take whoever catches it, takes it, and pegs someone.
Oh, I'm sure. I feel like I've seen my friend
Jennings
Dave
was
do
like,
that.
after the 3rd catch, or after the 3rd off your foot, somebody catches it, and then everybody has to run so you don't get hit. Well, nobody told me that the first time I was playing. And I'm standing there. Jennings nailed me.
What?
Nailed me in the head.
Should
And
not
I'm
throw
like,
at her mother?
No. Oh, so is that not the rule?
I've never
rules?
played the game. I've just played hacky sack to see how long how many hits you can
Yeah,
get.
that
I've
was-
never
Well,
actually played a
somebody
game.
needs to let me know if I got punked.
I think
Probably
maybe
got
you got punked.
I think you probably got punked.
Maybe. Question though, did you guys go like kayaking or anything on the water?
We kayaked and we
Did you see
did.
any sharks?
We had there was a cute little baby shark
Oh,
that
no
lived
shark.
right outside our house, and we would go see it every day. There were lots of iguanas. Like it was great. We kayaked. We went out on the boat. The wind was really bad, and that kind of stunk. There's like all these lighthouses. They're probably 5 miles off that you can go snorkel.
Mhm.
Lots of great snorkeling, but we could never do that. But it was a great trip. It's just always funny to get because all my kids are basically college and up. I mean, I've got one that's a senior in high school, but she's pretty independent as it is. But to take all these grown adults that aren't 5 anymore and put them all back in the house together, it takes a minute. Like it was kind of interesting because we used to say it's not vacation, it's relocation when they're
Mhm,
younger, when they're like, 3 to 10. You're like, you're just going to the beach and doing the same thing. Now it's like you're bringing all these grown-ups and all these independent people that have their own lives, that have their own routines, and you're trying to squeeze them back into a house. Meanwhile, I guess we're still mom and dad, and it's like, well, how do you interact with mom and dad at 24 versus 4? It's just this whole kind of weird, we're new to this grown kid thing.
It's the song Somebody I Used to Know.
But they're the same.
But then they're the same, but they're grown and respecting their humanity, respecting their independence,
yes.
And like realizing, okay, guys, so on Friday night, everybody go out, we'll keep the kids. They love that. But it is so weird. You're right. Because we were at the beach the week before with our kids. And it takes a second because you're like, oh, wow. Like, this is different.
And see, we don't even have the grandkid thing yet. So that's a whole other layer. But
It's so fun.
Yeah. It is weird because then all the kids kind of fall back into the roles that they had when they were little.
Mhm.
Like we've got the clown, the family clown. We've got the serious, let's have a plan. But yet they're grown up. I don't know.
Mhm.
The whole thing was awesome for us to have 8 days together. I did miss y'all. I
We
missed a
missed you.
lot. I would like scroll through, we're sitting on the beach and like the live stream would come up and I'm like, then I just have to put my phone down and enjoy the sun and the palm trees and the sand. Because y'all had a ton of rain.
Yeah,
We did. It
had
pretty much rained
rain.
all Memorial Day weekend.
It did.
It's
Yeah.
supposed to rain this weekend too. What have y'all done?
I hope Chris Shaver can get out and mow the grass in time because it's a jungle right now. What did we do?
I mean, why do we have all this rain? It was like
I don't know.
nothing. And
You
now
brought it back.
Yeah.
I left and it showed up.
You brought it back.
So you brought the sunshine with you to the Keys. So it's supposed to rain, but then
Oh.
Mother Nature's going to know that Allison's back, so then it won't.
I
That's
also
exactly
ruined
right.
the sound system and
I
this
mean,
morning.
your whole
It feels like a
juju
Monday.
this morning. It's fine. It's Friday. We got to talk to Congressman Barry Moore. And now we got caught
Yeah.
up in wishing that, can you believe we drove our kids to the Keys one year? We drove.
You're insane.
It was
Did you have a
insane.
van? What did you do?
I
How
had
did you do
my XL at the time, and there was lots of your feet smell. So we forced them to watch the 70s and 80s TV shows, and then they decided our shows were the best. But I'm just laughing, thinking about what would happen if you piled them all back in the car now. They
Oh.
wouldn't fit. You might have to strap people on top.
They wouldn't fit, but
No
would
one
they
would
make
fit.
it?
They'd make it. But it's just hilarious to see them become their own person. And I think it is such a delight that y'all got to spend that much time together.
Well, JP would have a perspective on it. Is it weird going back? I mean, because you've been on your own for a while now, like big boy job, is it weird?
It is at first, yeah. It is weird, but then normally with my siblings, we kind of just all fall back into. But it's different than when we were kids. Like we have grown up relationships now, so we don't really fall back to like how it was as kids. But yeah, it does take.
I guess I'm thinking about like at with your parents.
Oh,
Like
it's
you're
different.
used to being able to come and go whenever you want to, and now I mean like they can do what they want.
So
But I'm
weird.
like, where? What do you mean you got to run an errand? Where are you
Yeah,
going?
where are you going?
Wait. Can I go? Or What are you getting?
100%.
Who are you calling?
This is Molly's life this summer. No wonder she's like, I'm going to Auburn this weekend. Yep, I feel you.
You're like, why are you going?
Where are you going? Are you gonna
what time will you be home? I don't know if you can still do that.
You can't.
You can't?
No. You just have to have basic ground rules and be like, okay, well, we're gonna meet for dinner at so and so time. See ya.
What if they're on fire in jail?
Well, they'll call you. They always call mom. Kind of like when they vomited in the middle of the night, they always came to our side of the bed. They'll call you if they're in jail. You.
Okay. Well, so don't ask when you think you'll be home.
Just be like, should I lock the door or what do you think? And see, that way they'll tell you. There's ways to trick them in.
So don't tell them.
Yeah, I use trickery to get them to tell me what they're going to do.
Make them think it was their idea to tell you.
This is what I do.
Like you do with your husband.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Got it. Y'all, we're going to take a break. When we come back, are we going to have the Bussy brief? Is that the plan?
I think we montage first and then do Bussy brief to end the segment.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, whatever JP producer says will happen on the other side. We'll be right back.
We are joined by election integrity expert, Dr. Douglas Frank. We're thrilled to have him back with us. This time, we have a little more time for him to lay out just exactly what's going on, and what he has to share will blow your mind. Welcome.
Great to be with you ladies again. That was a fun interview last time, so I'm glad to be back.
It was fun. And now we have more time to dig in. When you left last time, we both looked at each other and were like, oh my word, because for years we've been told that Alabama is the gold standard in election integrity. And apparently we have some things we can work on.
Every state says they're the gold standard. It's like I think all the secretaries of states get together in some conference and say, let's all agree we're all the gold standard or something like that.
Yeah. Well, tell
like
us a little bit about yourself before we really get into some of the data and the things that you've discovered. How did you get started in this? What is your background?
Sure. I'm a physicist. I was in the lab for 40 years, basically. And when I came out of the lab, I was like, what happened to my country? And what really brought me out was COVID. It was the COVID pandemic. I was teaching at a special school for high IQ kids. And one of my kids was a Chinese exchange student from Wuhan. And in November of 2019, I was teaching differential equations class, and he said, Dr. Frank, can we learn how to model epidemics? And so I began teaching how to model epidemics in December of 2019. And then the Wuhan epidemic took off and we modeled it. And then I was modeling it in America. So everybody got to know me across the country because of my COVID modeling. I was modeling every country, every county in the country, and 30 countries. And I had like 150,000 people coming to my websites every week to how many people are going to die this week in our county. I mean, it seems morbid, but it's all mathematical. Epidemics are mathematical things. And so that kind of brought me into the public eye. I was in the public eye once before because I was nominated for a Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1990 for one of my discoveries. I got on the cover of Science and Nature and things like that. So
what'd you discover?
Yeah. You can't leave us hanging like that.
I didn't mean to do that to you. Sorry about that. Well, I figured out a way to make three-dimensional images of molecules. And it's the first time anybody had done that, and so it looks cool. So it looks good on covers of magazines, and brought me a lot of attention. For about a year, I was traveling the world teaching people how I figured that out, and then I left academics in 1996 because it was too political for me. It was disgusting to me. I didn't like it.
You were ahead of the curve.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
truly.
In 1996, we thought the world was great.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I was in Cincinnati, too, and Mark Twain wrote about Cincinnati. He said, when the end of the world comes, he wants to be in Cincinnati because everything happens there 10 years later.
It's true. I had family who lived in Cincinnati. That's a great place.
Oh, yeah, and it was a great place for me to raise my kids and everything, and I'm still out there in the country. We've moved further out in the country now. So I have a lab out there. That's where I'd be right now, being a physicist out in the country, except that then the election happened, and Mr. Lindell discovered me, and then Mr. Trump, and so it's like now I've been thrust into this debate on elections. And I guess one of the next big thing was that when Pennsylvania did their audit, Doug Mastriano asked for an audit at the end of November of 2020. I was brought in as one of the 6 people that did their state audit because I'm a numbers guy, and they knew I was a numbers guy because they'd seen my COVID stuff. So that's really what thrust me in. Then Mr. Lindell discovered, he made a documentary about me called Scientific Proof. It was his second documentary. And then Trump featured me at his first rally after he was out of office in Wellington, Ohio. So suddenly tens of millions of people knew who I was, and everybody was saying, Dr. Frank, come help us, come help us. And here I am. Although in those days, we thought it was just going to be a 6-month job.
Yeah.
All we have to do is show everybody what's going on, and everybody's going to go, oh, no, we have a problem. I got to fix it. That's what we thought. And I spent most of 2021 meeting with secretaries of states, AGs, hacking into their elections right in front of their faces, showing them that they were not the gold standard they thought they were. And it was quite a eye-opener for me. I mean, when I'm a scientist, to me, you set up an experiment, you get the evidence, you present the evidence, and everybody goes, okay, now we do this. I was just assuming if I show everybody the evidence, that they would react accordingly.
Why don't they react accordingly?
I think there are multiple reinforcements of the current system. The first one is the oldest story ever. Since when does government relinquish power to the people? Governments centralize power. And right now in our country, the elections in every state are centrally controlled. They've been steadily, incrementally over about the last 25 years, just become centralized. Your own local clerks don't control or do anything anymore. They think they do, but they don't. And so that's a strong.
Hello and welcome back. Okay, how are you? Good.
Back.
We're
I
back.
can hear now.
You can hear, so you're
Yeah.
good.
That was hard to do an interview not hearing.
Well, you should have told you if you would have given me something.
What?
I mean,
JP! I thought I messed something up when I was messing with the box. I think it's because I was gone.
Guys,
What?
Oh, all right, listen.
Don't look.
We're not really going to have time for a tour around Twix. We may do that at 11.
Are we going to yammer?
What we really have time for is wait for JP to sit down because we need Allison to hear this. Are you good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're good. Sorry.
We now have the words of the day.
Words.
Yeah, words. Because it's our word and it's the Gen Z word. JP? JP!
Why is
The-
he giggling?
The rollout didn't work.
Oh, wait. Oh, you need the music.
I wanted
Sorry,
the
you're
music. So what the word of the day? Okay. Just for a
What,
second.
was it Sesame Street when the words came together?
Yes.
It's so loud though.
That's right.
That's it.
Okay. So we got a word of the day, guys.
By the way,
Yes, ma'am.
pause.
What?
I never went back and watched. Did anybody go back and watch when Scott Stallhagen was here and he made us dance off the set?
I watched it.
And Abs just stood there. Does it look as ridiculous as it felt? And
It
we
was
turned
funny.
around and Abs,
Ridiculous.
why didn't you move?
Because I didn't know he actually meant we're going to dance off.
Well, when we
I
were
thought
all
meant-
walking, what did you think we were doing? Going to get a lukewarm Coca-Cola with a lime? Anyway,
Look, when we're
It
on
was
his
funny.
podcast,
I wanna go back and
I
look at
will
that.
dance off. Okay. I just sometimes my logical brain's like, are we literally dancing off? Is this like show
I
tunes?
turned around and you were just staring at us, standing there by
By the way,
yourself.
By the way, at the forum that Amy Beth and I went to, I got asked by 3 different people if we were doing a tailgate for the runoff. And in my head, I didn't even think about it. In my head, I go, "That's a lot of work."
How about we just
Wow,
meet at a
That
like
wasn't a lot.
restaurant?
It really wasn't a lot of work.
Well, maybe we meet and have it somewhere. It was fun.
Wait,
And then
what?
when I saw Katherine Robertson and her husband, he said, "Last time I saw you, you were running around trying to keep an Alabama state flag from staying still behind you."
Oh, well, that was stressful. But I thought it was actually pretty easy. And I think I have a plan for runoff night.
Night.
Yeah, I also have another project for us. You didn't respond to it yesterday.
Oh wait, is it on our text?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Anyway,
didn't see it.
for runoff night, I think we need to do a decision desk
Oh, yes, ma'am, we do.
with
Because-
whiteboards.
Yeah. Well, that's actually good because we knew a lot of these races were going to runoffs, but this, like, we're going to have a winner that, like, we like declare winners.
Yeah,
on
I
runoff
think it
night.
would be fun to have like a. It would be like, do. You remember Chris Matthews? You probably don't remember
I
him.
so remember the decision desk. All right, you're going to have to also, like with our words of the day music, that completely do not apply at this moment. Although the word of the day does, based on what Allison just said. We need to have some newsy music. Okay.
Oh, it's easy.
For
It's
decision desk.
Like what's in the background of the
would be-
montage.
Like
yeah, it would be great.
old school like Morse code.
Okay, we're doing it.
I
Can we have brownie Sundays and stuff?
Yeah, actually, I think we should invite Will Ainsworth to come do it with us.
Should our husbands come and sit
Oh.
right there in the chairs and chill with us? That would be so fun.
I don't know. Jared hates politics.
Chris
He'll
come?
probably absolutely.
Okay.
Jared will come, but we do need to see who won the if the girls.
we counted it up when you were gone. Ainsworth beat it, y'all. I think it was like 5-4.
That'd be enough that if okay, but
Shoot.
we still have a chance because of the runoff. So we could swing in our favor. we could.
Well, the bet I made with him just applied to this board.
Darn it.
So I guess Jared and I are buying him and his
Y'all-
wife dinner.
Y'all, I mean, we can verify. I think y'all all, for the most part, got the winners right. He just beat y'all on the percentages.
So like
Well-
you just did who was closer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically Sinclair, Shaver, Ainsworth, dinner, and okay.
And then,
so I'll have
like,
to split dinner.
The lieutenant
With you.
governor one, I remember y'all were closer on the percentage on one race and then or one candidate. He was closer on the next, and then he beat you. So like the lieutenant governor, he was 3-2 on percentages and that.
Okay.
So that's how we did it.
So you
But
did it legit.
overall, I
nice
think
work.
it was 5-4. He won.
Yeah. He did the math. It was good.
Who's gonna tell him?
We
I don't
don't
He
have to
already
tell him.
knows.
He can just forget.
He already knows it's fine. Okay. Well, now that that's been decided and decreed, thank you. You know, we probably need a gavel.
A gavel. I
Like
mean,
a little.
have y'all seen the video of him gaveling
legit
that one time
gavel.
with Bobby
Singleton?
Yeah.
Yes.
What did he do?
And he like broke the gavel.
We need a
He
gavel.
like, I can't remember what it was. He was filibustering. about
Did it
something.
like fly?
No. But he cracked it. He posted it on Twitter. I remember he cracked it, but he like.
You know what we could use a gavel for? We could use a gavel for the times where like we laid out all of the stuff with the maps yesterday and it was kind of
Oh,
like
yeah.
a sesh.
That was a great
We can
discussion, by the way.
we can do that. My husband had us go back to the basics on all the map stuff because we're talking about it like we know what we're saying. And we just kind of laid it out. But that would have been the perfect day to have a boop.
I posted that full
Class.
discussion on our Twitter and YouTube, by the way, if y'all want to go check it out. It's good.
Thanks, JB.
I probably should go watch it.
Well, I needed to understand fully what was going on, and everybody else they were kind enough to play along with me while I worked it out. But the word of the day starts with C.
Cohort.
Allison, you looked at the word.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I
You
just was
cheater.
looking over to listen to you talk about.
It also, though, is what we're going to do on decision desk night.
You know what I find so funny about Allison is she cheated and looked at it and she didn't even try to play like she didn't. She just said it right with it. Like she didn't play along.
Never play cards with
She
this
just
one.
said it.
Don't.
I-
Don't.
I'm not okay. Well, I'm not a cheater because I have to
Really?
sleep at night. But if I cheat, I'll tell you. Because
we
I have to
just saw
sleep at
you
night.
cheat.
Yeah, and I admitted it.
All right.
So
fine.
who's our cohort?
Cohort?
Cohort.
A cohort refers to a group or band of individuals. Did you spit?
Sorry. Oh,
Cohort of supporters. It can, I'm going to read like this is second grade. It can be used for a group of individuals who have a statistical factor such as age in common in a demographic study. As in a cohort of people born in the 1980s, cohort can be used for individuals too, as for a friend, companion, or colleague. But it is almost always used in its plural form, cohort. We are a cohort. If you are in the audience and we are one tribe, we are a cohort.
Are we cohorting?
We are cohorting,
Easy
and
then.
eventually we're gonna cavort as a cohort. Did you like that?
You're such. I'm not gonna say that joke.
What?
No.
No.
but
Say it. A
This is a
heifer?
family show. No, it's a family show.
Okay.
You know what the Gen Z word of the day?
What's that?
To throw blank at someone.
Shade.
Wow. To throw shade at someone is to disrespect or disapprove of someone. Example, he threw shade at her for her negative comments online.
As he should.
I use that one a good bit.
I was about to go straight up 70s on you, but I'm not gonna.
I may have used the best word of the day, though, when Allison was gone for Gen Z. Have you heard of the word mogging?
That's not mogging.
No, it's
What is-
mogging.
What's
Let's-
mogging?
so
We
it's-
had to do the
Wait,
same
let me
thing.
guess. Let me guess. Let me guess.
You're not going to get it.
She's gonna get it.
Mogging.
To,
She-
to mog
She's
someone.
been refreshed. She's gonna get it.
To mog someone. Oh, you're gonna make fun of someone?
No, like mog means to like be better than. So like if I'm mogging you, I'm better than you.
Yeah, you're making fun of them. You're putting
We're
them
not-
down.
Well, yeah. But it's such a like.
Is it new? Because I've never
Yes,
heard that.
But it's such a like skibbity toilet level like genre of words. Like it's so cringe and funny. But I met Ashley actually, who comments on our live stream every day. I met her at the GOP.
Oh
forum,
yeah.
and I don't know if it was her son or somebody who was younger was next to her, and she was like, "JP, I love your Gen Z words of the day." And then she said to her son, she's like, "Do you watch the show?" And he goes, "Oh no, I don't." And I said, "Yeah, the Gen Z word of the day was mogging," and he just goes like, under his breath. And I go, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I like it.
mogging.
We're getting deeper and deeper into the abyss of.
What do we
Gen
do
Z.
when we run out of words?
You won't.
Will we start over again?
I think we start making stuff up.
I've got a tab
love
of
that.
90 plus Gen Z slang words, and I've maybe used like 10 of them. So,
Okay, that's a dream. That's
We got
great.
80
I'm
more
glad.
days.
Fabulous. And then we're just going to start making stuff up, and we're going to say it in such a believable way. People believe us.
The words are so stupid. We could say anything and make anything, and they'd be like, "Yeah, that's
Plus,
good."
we bring our mom energy to it. They're obviously going to believe us.
The mom energy is running out, but you're right.
Do I need to make you a cup of coffee?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Or
well,
tea?
we
have
got
tea.
we got the bussy brief for 15 minutes.
We have tea.
Oh, can I take a nap?
Yeah, go over there.
Yeah,
and
Or
take
maybe
a
I'll
nap.
walk.
Yeah,
Should I
no,
go
don't
walk?
walk. Go drink some tea. I'll make you some tea.
So the bussy brief. Okay, the bussy brief will take us to the top of the hour,
Yep.
and then we'll come back with montage and news because y'all have to tell me what the hell county I missed, which I think was a lot. I literally really did check out, which I normally don't.
Did you?
Did you read books then?
I didn't check out with y'all, but in terms of keeping up with the news,
Oh, okay.
oh my gosh, I'm still trying to get through the widow.
How's the? I'm so just get
I
me
don't
done.
know. She just died from the ginger cookies, and
Spoiler.
It's John Grisham's The Widow, and the first half is really boring, and then it heats up at the end. But his last couple were that way.
Can I just skip to the end?
Just skip to the end.
All
Just
right,
skip
'cause
to the last two
It's
chapters.
mogging me down.
It's not 100%.
Not even how you use it.
Whatever.
Okay, all right. I'll use mogging. Have you all noticed? And you really do mean when you use the word mog that people think they're better than you.
Like if I were to say I'm mogging you, like there's frame mogging, like when you got a better frame. There's money mogging. I got more
Frame, does that
money.
mean body?
Yeah, like if you stand next to somebody and take a picture next to them and you like do the lat spread, like I'm frame mogging you. I'm money mogging you.
So
looks
basically,
mogging you.
some campaigns are mogging others right now. They're trying to like look better, be better.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Does mogging in your campaign work?
I don't know.
That's a
Depends
great
on who you are. I just wanted to use it in a sentence so it went into
All right.
the brain space.
Can we talk about campaign mogging
Yes.
Yes.
Let's do it on the other side.
after?
After we talk to Caitlin Bussey.
We'll be back.
Hold on, let me
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with JP, and we are blessed as always to be joined by Caitlin Bussey for the
Hello.
Monday brief. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
You know what? We're up and not crying. Okay. So we've made it through. I don't know if you saw this week, but there was a runoff town hall that was very well attended. And it led JP and I to a discussion that we wanted to ask you about. But it's the power of the Trump endorsement. And we kind of danced around it, but we didn't have time to really get into it. So can you talk to us about that? What is involved in getting an endorsement? And what does that mean for the person who receives it?
Totally. Well, I think it can mean different things depending on what state you're in, who you are, what seat you're running for. And really, I think the magic that comes with a Trump endorsement in this day and age is how you market it. And I think that some people aren't quite cashing in on it right. And it just really all boils down to what race you're talking about, what state you're in. For example, Alabama, Trump endorsement is obviously going to be really a heavy punch for your campaign. Going into how you get it, it's all relationships. You've got to know who has the ear of the president. You got to know them. You've got to be sending them your candidates, like polling, their talking points. If they're ever speaking in like a media hit and they're pumping up Trump and like you post it and that type of thing is going on, like you're going to want to send all of that to them and then from there, it's really in the ballpark of President Trump, his team, their timing. You kind of, sometimes you're in cahoots with them of like, okay, we're going to get the endorsement. Here's when, here's what he's going to say. Sometimes you don't know. And it's just like on truth. And you're like, oh my gosh, yes. I've worked on campaigns that had both styles of that. And then I've worked on some that were not Trump endorsed. So it just kind of depends. This day and age, I think we've seen with primaries so far, it really does pack a punch, which I thought was so interesting in Alabama that the two Trump endorsed candidates are in a runoff. But you never know. And I think with Alabama specifically, I don't know which, I think you're referring to the Senate race with Barrymore and Jared Hudson. Personally, you know, Barrymore is a great guy, great family, but I love Jared Hudson. I really like that he's a fresh face. I like his background. I like his story. I like his passion behind what he's doing. I think he's going to be a very good candidate in our state in the future if he doesn't end up winning this race coming up. But it's really cool to see him, especially taking my experience on the official side to the campaign side, knowing kind of both ends of that and what goes into both ends, and seeing someone kind of start from scratch in terms of like no name ID to be in a runoff against a sitting congressman. I think it's pretty cool, like what he's been able to do there. So I find it all interesting. I haven't had time to really get in the weeds of his personal campaign and see like what he's doing, but I like him a lot and I'm rooting for him.
Do you think that people have any idea how difficult it is to be a candidate?
No, I don't think they do. It is a full-time job, and I can't imagine the stress it puts on a family. I always joke and say I want my dad to run for office, but after I've kind of thought about it a lot, I'm like, maybe I don't. But it's definitely a lot of stress, lots of people telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, a lot of them telling you that you can't do stuff. But you know, the people I've worked with, at least their families are all on board. It's just like it's really cool thing to see, honestly. And you get close with them and their family. And it really is like you put your life on pause for however long it takes if that's really what you feel like your calling is. And that's what you want to do is get elected, then you really do. That is the number one thing you're worried about until it happens.
Do you think that the cost of finally winning your seat is ever going to come down? I mean, the money that's been spent just in Alabama is mind-blowing. And you hear people complain about it, but I don't know that I ever see it changing.
I don't either. And I know that we've kind of touched on all of this, but it kind of just ties into the whole world, like what's going on nowadays. Like money runs everything. And you're never going to have, even with like places that do have rules and regulations, for example, colleges, like you saw all those scandals with, you know, if you have enough money, you can literally pay your way to get into any college you want. It's not really advertised, but we all know that's how it works. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of like that. Like you really do have to have a lot of money just personally to be able to run for office. And some of these people who don't, that are, you know, outdoor knocking, fundraising their butt off, that it's hard. It really is. And then you're kind of entrusted with these people's money to get your campaign across the line, and you just feel bad if you don't, like, you know what I mean? It's just it's interesting because there is a lot of big money involved in campaigns, but there's also the small dollars that do make a difference. And to me, that's really stressful that you're in charge of these people. I've given you the $20 that they can give up in this economy. You know what I mean? And like, they really believe in you and your mission, and you owe it to them to get it across the finish line.
And I think the other hard part, and before we jump into talking about affordability, is that when I ran for office, I made the runoff. You have to have a thick skin, like rhinoceros thick skin. And you have to let things roll off of you, because you do see who your friends are and who they aren't. But you also have to be free to say, you know what? We are going to maintain a friendship, even if they're going for the other person. And it gets so personal, and it's hard not to let it become that way. But don't you think that's just also the nature of politics and this machine that running for office has become?
I do think so. And it is something that you have to, like you said, just not take personally. Business is business. There are going to be reasons why people are supporting someone. Even like your close friends. Like if I were to ever run for office, I would expect all my close friends to vote for me. Right. But like, no, I it doesn't always work like that. And I think what we have gotten away from, and I don't know when it happened, I guess COVID, but honestly, I'm still young, I don't know if it's always been like that, but politics is so taboo. And especially with friendships and relationships, it's like, why can we not talk about it and just disagree and move on? Like, I still like you as a person. I don't think you're very smart, but like, whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, even if, I have a bunch of friends that we don't agree eye to eye on everything, and I love them dearly. You know what I mean? There's nothing I would change about that. And I think the whole beauty of America is having your own opinion, being able to voice it, having those discussions. Some places you don't get to do that. You know what I mean? Even behind closed doors, you don't get to do that. So I think people take everything for granted that we have here. And it's, there's the pendulum is always going to swing back one way or the other. But I think that with the money and the personalness of running for office, we are all the way on one side of it. You know what I mean? People are, I think it was Thomas Massey. We talked about this last week, but theirs was $30 million spent in a House primary race. Like, that's literally nuts.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, and people charge more for things nowadays. I mean, it's just expensive. It's just expensive everywhere.
Yeah. Well, and it's so interesting because you pivot and you're pivoting, and we're going to pivot toward affordability. But then you look at that race that was $30 million. And JP, I don't know if you have any numbers on races in Alabama, but they're in the millions of dollars as well. And then you switch and you're like, wait a minute, but the average age of a home buyer these days is what, 40, 45? Mm-hmm. And so that doesn't make sense to me that we are in a bit of an affordability crisis. And I wanted to ask you about that. And it's harder and harder for people to buy homes. People are starting families later. Where do you see this going? What are your thoughts on accountability in Gen Z?
It's really hard for me to wrap my head around. No, you're good. It's hard for me to wrap my head around the affordability thing, because here we are and everything is still going on how it's been going on, but everything is costing more. I mean, you look, even 10 years ago, things have doubled, if not tripled in cost. For me, I always joke, I'm like, I'm going to be a lifelong renter. I'm like, I'm never going to be able to have enough money in the bank to afford a house. But it's just interesting. I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but maybe just in my field, I feel like there is no cost of living adjustment for salaries. And like, you're just seeing the cost for everything is going up. And I'm like, I don't even know how I survived when I used to make like $45,000 a year. I don't know how, like, living here too.
Yes.
But it's just crazy. I don't even know where it goes from here. I think everyone that's my age, we're just kind of under the same thing of just like, whatever, like, we'll make it work, figure it out. But it is nuts. Like, I know so many people in credit card debt. I know so many people who just like are trying to keep up with the lifestyle. I think social media has definitely played a huge role, not necessarily in how expensive things are, but kind of, if you think about it, with the comparison, and people are willing to pay for literally anything. And it's just keeps going up because there's always going to be someone who's willing to pay for it, right? So if there's a market for it, and if I can make something for $1 and charge 50 for it, like I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? That's just business. So I don't know where we go from here. I'm not, math, budget, all that are 4-letter words in my vocabulary. So I'm not good with money. I've talked about it before on my dad's podcast, but it is not my strong suit. It has gotten a lot better as I've gotten older, but it has definitely been a struggle getting to where I am now. But yeah, and it's something that is the hot button topic in all primaries this year is affordability. How are we going to make people be able to afford life again and not be choosing between, paying rent or getting groceries? And it's just crazy. But pretty much everyone that I've seen, their main campaign pillar is affordability, a housing plan of some sorts, things like that. People have ideas on how to do all these things, but once again, it goes back to, you got to have everybody on the same boat to get something done about it.
Sure.
So I don't know. And it's hard to accomplish something. We have Trump in the White House. We have the House and the Senate right now, and it's still hard to get stuff across the finish line, which I'm glad it's set up the way that it is with checks and balances, of course. But, sometimes when you have such polar opposites presidents right back to back, it's hard to, get anything across the finish line.
That's a good point. That's a good take. So I agree. I don't know how it ends. I think we've got to do something and continue to do something about immigration. And, I know that's in the mix somewhere, but it's a little bit discouraging. So we'll see. We're all paying attention to that, but I know that you guys are the ones who are feeling it the most. And the last question I have for you is, I've been seeing articles and wish that there was one that I could pull up, and I can't even remember where I saw it. But church attendance has roared back to life, especially for Gen Z young men and to some degree young women. But what are your thoughts on that? Knowing that you guys were the first generation to really be plunged into the depths of social media. And, you talk about books like Jonathan Haidt's The Anxious Generation. People are feeling that, because as great as it is to be connected, you still feel disconnected from the worlds that you're in.
Yeah.
So it seems like people are looking for meaning. They're looking for purpose. And I wondered what your thoughts are on those new reports that church attendance is coming back to life for you guys.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you with the sense of people looking for meaning and purpose. I think it has everything to do with it. There's only so far you can go with, the anti-anxiety medicine and the therapy and all the things. And I think that there was a period of time, we're still very much in it, where my generation is just so focused on themselves and like social media and the perception of every little thing that they're doing. That's literally no way to live. And I was not raised like that. So it hasn't been, obviously I'm a girl, it's arguably worse on women with the whole comparison and thing on social media. But, I think that with our generation, what honestly, when you texted me that, I was thinking about it. I've seen it be, what I think is cool is living in Alabama, growing up in Alabama, you're raised just going to church every Sunday, especially coming from Briarwood, small private Christian school. That's just what everybody does. That's what everybody that does. That is what you do. So when I moved up to DC, and I was like people go to church because they want to, not because they have to. You know what I mean? And I thought that was so interesting, and honestly, such a breath of fresh air being around people at church who want to be there, and they're not like, well, got to check this off the list so I'm not grounded, or you know what I mean? Like something like that. Or, my parents are making me go, or I'm here to be seen. Like, it's very much not like that up further north. And I found it really rewarding, because you're there with people that really genuinely are there for fellowship and want to have a genuine relationship with Christ, and not, just a country club type thing. So I don't know if that's kind of a reason too. It's just a sense of community. And I think right now in our world, there's so much going on that people are really looking for answers and for peace. And obviously I think that's a great place to find it, is church. But I don't know exactly what is solely responsible for the uptick, but I'm glad that it's happening. I think we've seen the consequences of fatherless homes going up rampantly and different things like that, and what that looks like for those communities. And I'm glad that, there is an uptick in Gen Z men growing up, going to church, being men of God. I think that's super important. And I think I'm a strong believer in the nuclear family. You know what I mean? I think it would solve a lot of the issues we have going on in our country if we would just stick to that.
Yes.
But I think that that's a good sign, and I'm excited about it.
That's a good take. I think you're right. It is encouraging. It is a good sign. And people are understanding that all the things we're trying to accomplish will be good. But I believe apart from Christ and apart from that deeper meaning that he offers, it's going to fail. Mm-hmm. And I'm so happy and encouraged. But I'm glad to hear your thoughts on that because I'm encouraged too. JP, are you encouraged by that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Caitlin Bussey. Every Friday, right here on the right side, you've just listened to and gotten hot takes from Caitlin Bussey. Thank you, my friend.
Of course. Thank y'all.
See you next time.
Also, it centralizes the outcomes of your elections. I said electrons. You put me in science mode there for a minute, and so because I was using.
No one blames you.
You want to go back to simpler times. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I since I was a boy, I read Wrinkle in Time when I was in 3rd grade, and ever since then, I've wanted to have my own physics lab in the country. I do, and that's where I'd be. But except my country went away, and so I have to. I'm a patriot. I have to fight for my country. You can't. You know, there are people dying for the freedoms we have, and I think it's our civic duty to step up and do our job. I mean, think about it. All these years I got to get government funding and scholarships to do all this great science work. You know, it's like I'm a blessed life. So it's my tour of duty, my turn to help.
Before we dig into Alabama numbers and kind of what you're finding here, give us an overview because you travel the country.
Yes.
You meet with lots of different groups in different states. Nationally, what are you seeing? Are we trending in the right direction? Are we making headway on a national scale? And then let's drill down and talk about what's going on in Alabama.
I think the first principle people need to understand is that there isn't one legislature in this country that wants election reform. There isn't one. Every single one is going the opposite direction. And so, like, for example, when I'm in Oregon, everybody says, oh, it's those evil Democrats. But here I am in Alabama. And you guys are like super red. And yet your legislature is trying to pass laws to make it even harder to audit your elections. What's going on here? And you would think that in the reddest legislatures or reddest states, they would want to fix their elections. But you have a bill right now before your legislature trying to make it even harder for people to have access to your voter rolls. And you're already the second least transparent state in the country in terms of your elections. So it's like, that's an eye-opener to people. Everybody wants to think that, oh, sure, certainly our legislature, this is a red state, so certainly they'll want to fix it. And no, it doesn't work that way. That's a big mind change for people to recognize that.
Are you speaking about the bill to reduce fees?
Yes.
Okay, how does that make it more difficult?
So the bill was, as it was originally proposed, was going to take information out. So they were saying, we're going to make it cheaper, but we're going to give you, it took out the critical.
Hello, and welcome back to The Right Side. I am Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP having a Friday. So, I mean, in the first hour, you know, casual, we talked to Congressman Barry Moore, who's running for Senate. Then you just heard from the Bussey brief, Caitlin Bussey. We have talked about the words of the day. And JP, do we have, I know I caught you with a bite in your mouth.
Casual. It's Friday. Just eat your lunch. Go ahead.
It's fine.
Go ahead. We're not doing a show.
We have news, clown world discussion. Yes? Is that good?
I was expecting to go straight to montage.
Okay, which is what we're going to do. And JP, now you can eat some more because guess what, everybody? We have news.
Time for news.
U.S. officials confirming to Fox News that American and Iranian negotiators have reached a 60-day ceasefire extension, a memorandum of understanding. The question now is whether or not President Trump and Iran's supreme leader, Mustafa Khamenei, will sign off to move this deal forward.
You know, I said on the campaign trail that I wouldn't be attending the parade, and I've made my views on the Israeli government abundantly clear. And I also said on that same campaign that I would have a responsibility as the mayor of the city to ensure the safety and security of each and every New Yorker. And I don't believe that my presence as the mayor should determine whether or not a New Yorker is safe or secure. That is something we take incredibly seriously. And what we also take seriously as an administration is to ensure that we are delivering on not just keeping Jewish New Yorkers safe, but ensuring that Jewish New Yorkers understand that they belong in this city.
It has colloquially been called the Lane Kiffin provision.
Yep.
Where a coach can't leave during a season.
Says that a university cannot recruit or hire a head coach or an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator while the season is happening or during the playoffs.
I want to ask you about Antifa. In October, the Treasury Department started working with the FBI to investigate who's funding Antifa.
It is ongoing. We made substantial progress, and I think in the weeks and months ahead, we're going to have a lot to report. We are going to encourage or demand that nonprofits know their grant recipients.
A San Antonio man was arrested today after he was accused of threatening to kill Erica Kirk ahead of a planned appearance at a Turning Point USA event. 26-year-old Jacob Winsky faces 2 felony charges of making a terroristic threat causing public fear.
All right. Okay. I really want to start there, but we're not going to. We're just going to go from the very top. U.S.-Iran negotiations agree on a 60-day memo of understanding. Everyone, do you think that's going to happen? And will they abide by that? And I mean Iran. What do y'all think?
I think maybe the 60-day extension gets signed, but it's an extension to negotiate it's like an extension for an extension, some kind of weird thing that really doesn't mean much. The more I think about it, Abs, the more I think you're right. We are way in over our heads in negotiating and dealing with a civilization that doesn't value life, that doesn't care, they don't care about their people. They don't care about themselves. They don't care about humanity. They don't care about world peace. So how do you in good faith actually negotiate with people like that? And we're in a no-win situation. And that kind of makes me nervous. Trump's comments, I did get it down in Key West, him saying, I don't care about the midterms. I get it. You gotta play that game. You can't show weakness. But like we're in a real pickle. A real pickle. And this is kind of where I feared we would end up when we started. And I don't know how this ends well, but I do know we have to finish it. I just don't think you can negotiate. We don't negotiate with terrorists, and that's what they are. So why are we negotiating with terrorists?
So Alice and I started a book while you were gone. Shocker. JP has heard me talk about it.
Barely trying to get through the widow.
And it is called Defenders of the West, right? Or Defending the West by Raymond Ibrahim. And it's talking about the Crusades. Okay. It is the first time I have fully understood that we are not like them. And it furthers the conversation that we've all had, that we are negotiating with people who you're 100, like they do not value life. The only thing they value is power and defeating them so resoundingly that they can't do anything but surrender or abide. And every day that this goes on, every day I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I do not know how it goes. I don't.
Yeah. I think the 60-day will probably get agreed to. It'll get broken. And then each side will accuse the other side, broke it. And then we'll just be back where we started. So
I think Trump has to be prepared. Like, how many times have we been down? It's like a parent with your child. If you do that one more time, I will pull this car over. How many times did we say that?
Oh my word.
So many times that our kids didn't even flinch because they're like, you're on I-65. You're going to get run over. I know you're not pulling over. So he's about to get owned. I was listening to Steve Deace, and Steve Deace made a really good point. He was like, when Donald Trump, the art of the deal works so well, he is so good when you're negotiating with people like us.
Yep.
He is trying to work that same system on people that aren't even on the same playing field, the same ball field, the same worldview. There's nothing. And I don't think it's going to work out in his favor.
I just think that he needs to go grab Raymond Ibrahim, and they need to have a conversation and let him help.
That was exactly my thought this morning.
Are you kidding
me? Well,
me?
not him specifically, but I'm like, surely there's somebody that he is consulting with that's not Stephen Miller. I love him, whatever. Pete Hegseth, great, fine. But if you don't understand that mindset, surely he's brought somebody into the fold.
Surely.
Well,
yes.
Those people are the Gulf allies, like the Saudis from Qatar and others that are also Muslim. I mean, they're Sunni, not Shia. So it's a different branch of Muslim, but they understand how Iran operates. The problem, though, in all of this, and when I say the problem, I mean the problem for the Muslim nations in these negotiations is the Israel part, because we can negotiate with the U.S., we being, the Gulf, but part of the deal that Trump is bringing forth is, hey, y'all all got to normalize relations with Israel. And that's the part that's making them all go.
And you know what I've just learned? I have learned that they bring up this like 2026. Some of them are still thinking back to 1192. Some of the methods they use, for example, chopping off people's heads, beheading them, is over something that happened in 1200. We are not the same.
Yeah.
So, look, I think if we had millions of dollars, I would send this book to them. Surely, though, the other part that I hold out hope for, because they did this in another area, surely there's strategies and situations we know nothing about, because I wouldn't necessarily love knowing everything that they're doing. So I want to make allowances for that because we're here and they're there. Still, when I read that this past weekend, that they're still smarting over land issues from then, I'm like, oh, Lord, I don't even know what you do with that.
Yeah.
So,
and the other aspect, too, is the Israel side of it, where there's reports that Trump, a part of the deal, if Iran agreed, they could be a part of the Abraham Accords, which pissed Netanyahu off to no end. So it's not just the Gulf and those countries not wanting to normalize, because some are, like the Saudis and others, as part of the original Abraham Accords, but there's still others like Qatar that are not willing to do that yet. So it's both sides. Both sides, Israel and all the other Muslim nations, are not willing to completely normalize to be a part of the deal. And that's the part that's a needle that Trump's trying to thread. So there's just so many moving parts, but the people that Trump is bringing with that understand the Muslim mindset and the others will be like the Gulf allies. But it's just such a, there's so many moving parts in the Middle East. It's the most complicated part of the world. So it's just so hard to, and that's also part of Trump's art of the deal. Everybody wins. Everybody gives up something, but everybody wins, because if you don't have something to give everybody in the deal, then there's not going to be a deal. So everybody's got to get something. And the problem is Israel doesn't want Iran getting something. Iran and the Gulf don't want Israel getting something. So it's just so complicated and nuanced. And on top of the fact of we got to pull out and declare it a victory. The encouraging part is Iran has been willing to destroy the uranium, allegedly. Maybe. We'll see.
But why can you see? I just don't know why you can even believe that. Why you can even trust that.
That's the thing.
And I have to disagree with you a little bit in saying that, it's these other Middle Eastern nations that are coming in and advising. If you follow that logic, then you're saying that all of the Middle Eastern, Islamic countries are the same, but we treat them very differently.
Oh, no, right. I agree. And I'm not saying that that's the best, but if you're asking who's the person that Trump is relying on to be like that.
No, we need somebody that left,
right. I agree.
High up in, the regime there that can really, because there's a reason Iran is Iran and not Saudi Arabia and not whatever. And so if you aren't tapping into that mindset, I think you're missing out. And that might be a piece. I mean, come on, Don, give us a call.
Listen, we're here to help. You know, we were formerly the Ladies of Liberty.
Yeah.
Now we're a cohort. Yeah, somebody named us Ladies of Liberty.
I thought I didn't know you were stopping the Ladies.
Okay, we're the Ladies of Liberty. Okay, it's continued. I'm sorry, I mistake. But it is a whole conundrum. It's a conundrum. What?
I just thought of the heifers of hope.
Oh, what?
I love it.
The heifers of
Can
hope.
you see us kicking our back legs up on a red hat? Kind of like Cowgirl Kitchen that is now defunct.
Oh,
but they're like kicking their back legs up. Oh man, those would be great hats. Anywho, so stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned.
Do you mind if we talk about the Lane Kiffin provision?
Can we?
But in general, this bill that Ted Cruz and I can't remember who the other senator is
I didn't recognize him.
It's a Democrat.
There's a lot of layers to it. I really find it interesting, but I'm curious y'all's thoughts since we got about
what?
Like
okay,
6
what
minutes.
happened to Tuberville's bill? The
original?
Yeah, what happened to that one? Did it get voted on and smashed?
Nobody really. Did
I don't
even
know if it got voted on.
I don't think it got voted on. It's one of those things
go away
that he could just say, "I put this out here and nobody's listening to me," which is true.
But what? Okay, this is basically seems like the same skeleton of the bill.
It's got a lot more on top of it. So I think Tuberville's main bill was just limiting transfers and maybe some other parts of like if you do transfer, you have to give back the NIL money. This adds a lot more to it. So the main parts is a one-time transfer, 5-year eligibility, which was the main part of Tuberville's bill. But then the Lane Kiffin provision, which prevents coaches from leaving mid-season and prevents schools from recruiting coaches mid-season or during the playoffs. And it bans pro players, including international pro players, from coming back. This mainly influences basketball.
Huge.
So I'm curious y'all's thoughts on any of this.
Number one, I think it's the Toby Mac really old song. No, Lecrae old song, Get Back Right. I think this is an attempt to do that. I love those, especially because we focus so much on the kids and we haven't focused on the coaches. And so I'm very happy that there would be a prevention from them leaving. I think that's great. And the pro players, also great. Very great. Like I can't find anything I don't agree with that. Because the NCAA can be very arbitrary in the things that they agree to or not.
Right.
I guess it depends on the school, the money, the influence. And we need to do our best to level the playing field for everybody involved. So
some of the things I read online though, and it's always the unintended consequences, or maybe this is the intended consequence. I don't know, but it's the second layer. Like you have the obvious layer and then you have the second layer. And they were talking about how this really is just a protection for the coaches and the athletic departments and the NCAA to keep their power and all their money and to kind of take it out of the hands of the kids. That it looks good on the surface, but you really got to dig in. And I haven't read the bill. I don't know. I need to look into it more, but there is another layer there that people are starting to comment on of like, okay, this is just another example of like everybody trying, the big people, the universities trying to keep their money, keep it out of the hands of the students and protect themselves from liability. Maybe need to look into that. I don't know.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just, I think the one-time transfer 5-year window, I like the 5-year window. The one-time transfer, I guess I'm okay with, but I would go the route preferring of banning collectives because Amy Beth, you've talked about, with your son and having concerns about limiting transfers to just one. Life happens and you can go, and not every kid that's going from school to school is doing it for money. Like there's probably family issues. Maybe there's other unrelated issues. So I would prefer getting rid of collectives and making NIL just straight from the school, like how it should be, over doing the one-time transfer. And the coach, not being able to leave mid-season, I don't like that because that's not the problem. The problem is the college football schedule where the transfer portal window starts while the postseason is still going on.
Yeah, that's not okay.
So if you're LSU and you're out, and you want Lane Kiffin, and you got the window is right when the playoffs start. The heck with Ole Miss's playoffs. I'm going and getting my coach so I can get players in the transfer portal and recruit. LSU's doing what it needs to do to win. So, but if you don't change the schedule, but then make that law, then LSU is handcuffed and up a creek and they can't go and get a new coach. Or if they do, they can't get the one they want because of the law and the schedule. So I would go NCAA changing the schedule instead of doing a law, personally, but I get it. But I think there's a better way to do it. What was the other one? What was the last one? Oh, pro players. Yes, I think that's awesome because when the NCAA is being arbitrary, like you said, and this pro player can play, this one can't. Then it leads it to district judges that are in Oxford or Tuscaloosa, which Tuscaloosa doesn't have good enough Homer judges. They ruled against Bediaco, which is ridiculous. But anyways, when you don't have the NCAA lay the law, then yeah. So I think that's the best part of it.
Here's the other part that I really do like that they're trying to get back right. I really do think there's going to be some tinkering with all of this. It's a first step. But what the other part that is getting left out are the high school kids who are not getting recruited anymore until they go to their first school and they have to work their way up. So that needs to be a part of it too. And that may be some of their thinking. Will was basically the last class of boys, and I'm sure girls too, to get recruited straight out of high school. These days, you are out of luck, and you're going to have to start somewhere different and work your way to get where you'd like to go. What I miss are the days where you follow a team and you follow them all the way through. So if we can get back there, that's great, because young men and women understood, I've got to wait my turn. I'm going to work my butt off. I'm going to prove myself. Now, if they don't, they just leave. Versus this that makes it more, like you said, JP, which I agree with, life happens. Broken things happen. And so the people who need to transfer are going to get penalized unless they tinker with this eligibility. But I do like that because it's going to tamp down on it, because if you limit eligibility, you also force coaches to go back to high school and give those kids a shot. And yes, 100% on the NIL from the school. Because if you don't have a lot of money, you're not going to play whatever sport it is, you're not playing. And then the donors are way too involved.
Yeah, the collectives are the main reason for the school hopping.
Yep.
How were transfers handled before all this mess? Like if you transferred, did you have to sit out a year?
Yes.
Okay, so you could go back to that, but then you've got the 5-year window. So could you do 5 years of playing, but then that would put you like a 10-year senior.
Yeah. And there are some pretty old dudes as seniors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I've seen.
Making it to where, which I actually don't think kids should sit out if they transfer, but that rule getting overturned was kind of the beginning of, that's where the snowball started.
But what's your answer then if you say you can only you can only transfer once? There has to be some sort of consequence for just
I think
going for the money.
I think get rid of collectives, like I said, is the main one. But then I would be for, okay, your second transfer or any transfer after your first, you got to sit out. And I do like the 5-year window. But the pay for play and the school hopping, it's just straight from collect. Like if you get rid of the pay for play, I guarantee you the school hopping for money will stop.
Because you also still have red shirts.
Yeah.
And that protects the kids who, I know from experience, it gives them more time because of circumstances, but that was agreed upon at the beginning.
Yeah.
Or it happens when you're hurt and you get a medical red shirt. So there are provisions for people who missed out and can get their time. That's great. But the arbitrariness right now of the NCAA giving and blessing some and withholding from others for no reason, I am not for them having any more power than they need to have. They need bare bones power.
It's kind of like super PACs in politics.
Yes, that's a great word. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's good is that there's a discussion around this because, I'm not even really in it. I don't quite understand it, but I know I really don't enjoy watching college football like I used to.
Maybe because Auburn's been struggling. That's it.
I think
Okay, JP.
That might be it. But it's just not fun. Make college football fun again, please. When we come back,
we'll keep going in the montage.
Keep going in the montage.
And we got
then Clown World.
Sweet.
We'll be back.
and you're already not giving
Right.
the, for example, I've been working with your teams here. I just came from Mobile and I came from Ottawa, and they're complaining, Dr. Frank, this is really hard. And it is, because in other states, they give you tons more information than you get here, and you have to pay for it, and it's limited already, and they wanted to limit it even more. It should be exactly the opposite. If you go to Ohio, for example, or go on their Ohio website, Secretary of State website, just click. You can download it for free. Go to Florida, click, download it for free. Way more information for free. But in your state, you have to pay exorbitant fees for less information, and they wanted to make that even less information.
So is it because it's back to what you said at the beginning? You've presented the evidence, they ignore it, it's centralized, it's layered. I mean, is it all of those things, or is there something that's specific to Alabama in addition to, we see that they're not transparent. We've experienced that.
Yeah.
Like, what else are we missing?
I think the main thing we're missing is that people have become conditioned into waiting for somebody else to fix the problems. You're too young, you don't remember, you ladies, but when I was a boy, we ran our own elections. The PTA moms walked the precincts, and the parties, the Republican and Democrat representative in every precinct, took the precinct book. And every 2 years, every door was knocked on, making sure that the books and the precincts were up to date. Since about 2002, we've just steadily lost our role as citizens. Now we wait for other people to fix our problems rather than us. We wait for other people to teach our children. We wait for other people to run our elections. We wait for other people to run our government. But America's an experiment in self-government. It's supposed to be us doing these things. How's it working out when we're letting other people teach our kids? How's it working out when we're letting other people run our government? Plato said the penalty for refusing to get involved in politics is you end up being governed by your inferiors. And here we are. Any one of you pick a random person off the street, they'd probably be better governor than the one you got. Okay, I mean, it's a bad situation.
Right.
So really, I think that's the fundamental problem: is that we the people, and this is a good thing for Alabama, but we the people have forgotten that it's our country, that we're supposed to be doing stuff. Now, in your state, you are full of people who have really good, solid values. That is refreshing when I'm here in Alabama. But because of that, you're more trusting. And because of that, when I walk into a county and say, hey, your elections are all corrupted, they look at me like, no, our clerk is great. We love her. We go to church with her. Our kids go to school together. It's like
That couldn't possibly happen.
Couldn't possibly happen here because we're great people, right? I mean, and I get that. But what they don't understand is the problem isn't your people. The problem is that they are subservient to a system that's being imposed on you. So, for example, if you were to let's say you move into a county here. We're in Shelby, I think, right now. Let's say you walk into, I know the country by counties. Let's say you walk into a county and you say, hey, I want to get on the voter rolls. I want to register. The clerk doesn't bring out the precinct book and add you to the rolls. She logs into the state central system and adds you to the rolls. Oh, want to delete somebody from the rolls? She doesn't delete you. She logs into the state central system and deletes you from the system. She's not in control of that system. And guess where that file is? Omaha, Nebraska. Okay, so your rolls are not even here, and your clerk is not even here. It's not like she has a copy of the rolls. And so one of the things that I show in my talks, and by the way, I'm speaking tonight in Tuscaloosa, I think it is. Yeah. And I'll show a lot of this information, is if you were to take a copy of your voter rolls today, and then a week from now take another copy of your voter rolls, and compare the two, there'd be a whole bunch of names that were added and removed that your clerk didn't add and remove. Well, who did that? The state does that, and your clerk doesn't even know, though, because the numbers are similar, and so it looks to the clerk like this, just kind of going along, and she's adding and removing a few over time, but she doesn't realize that it's actually going like this. And I have the copies of the rolls, so I can show them the snapshots over time, and they're like, "What?" And so they don't know that's happening, and so I show that.
So, the state, but the rep. What is making the state remove them without going through the registrars?
Good question. So it used to be Eric. I think recently you've
Yeah.
separated from Eric, but you now have Avid. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's basically the same thing. I could show you in your own data. You're doing the same thing as you always did. You just changed the name for political reasons.
Is that, I mean, but isn't that what you want? You want to be checking against other states' records and removing accordingly?
So it sounds good.
Yeah.
It sounds like, wouldn't it be great? Except that what's happened is, and I can show you, and we should put this graph when we get to that point. I can show you your own rolls over time, and I can show you that what happened is, in this graph, this is from 1980 to 2024. You had 3 million people of voting age in 1980, and it just kind of steadily climbed in your state, and now you're up to around 4 million people of voting age. See that? That's your voting age people. Here are the number of people in your rolls every 2 years, according to your Secretary of State. And a clean voter rolls should be about 70% of your voting age population. So I would say you were really clean from about 1992 up to about 2012. But then look what happened. Then your voter rolls took off. How come? Well, that's when your state started automatically adding people who get driver's license, who get a car registration, who touch any government agency, who go to jail, who get welfare. They're automatically adding people, and they're not cleaning in a commensurate fashion, so the rolls are getting dirtier. I can talk about the turnouts, but let's not do that yet. I just want you to see that the voter rolls are growing faster than your population, dramatically faster. In fact, you got about 40% too many people in your voter rolls. So what'll happen is I'll show this to people, and they're like, what? How could we have so many names in the rolls that shouldn't be there? So what then I do is I give them a copy of their own voter rolls. They start going through them.
Hello, and welcome back to The Right Side. So we are going to continue rolling through stories from the montage, and then we'll get to the clown world, and then we'll get to the end of the day for us. Guys, it is like Barry Moore said, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. But Mayor Zoran Mamdani defending his decision to skip the Israel Day parade makes him the first New York mayor to bypass historic events since 1964. And so he's constantly telling us who he is. He is a communist. They outsiders elected a communist. But this is who we're dealing with if, tying this back to why our district maps matter, this is why that kind of thing matters. Because the Democrats have no problem telling us who they are and what they're going to do, and they do it. Meanwhile, we're here going, well, that may not be very nice, blah, blah, blah. But this Zoran Mamdani cat has my attention, and they're testing everything out. The Communist Party, literally, I think, is testing everything out on us in New York City, throwing AOC in front of the crowd of Muslim men who didn't even want to hear from a woman anyway, so they didn't listen. But skipping the Israel Day parade and living out his convictions is impressive because he's consistent. But what do you think about what's happening in New York City? And do you think there's any way out of Mamdani? Are people just going to have to hold on until he's done and vote somebody better in next time?
I really didn't follow this one, but I do think it's interesting that you have such a high Jewish population in New York City, and you're going to, I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't, it's just a risky move.
Yeah.
It's just a risky move. And it seems like one that, as if you're supposed to represent and lead all people, but then it's like, do you have to go to all the Christian parades? Like, nobody really flips out when he doesn't go to a Christmas anything. So why are we flipping out now? Does he go to, I mean, I don't know, Hindus,
he did go to a major Islamic holiday yesterday.
Well, I mean, he's Muslim, so I get that. But I'm saying like, does he, nobody, I don't think anybody was upset when he didn't go to an Easter service.
I think it's because of the massive beef between Muslims and Jews. And he chose Muslims who he represents as well as Jews. And so I think it's a historically long problem. And for him not to go, it's the first time a mayor didn't go in 60 years. And so he's choosing sides. And as a mayor, should you go to none of them or all of them? It would be easier than you went yesterday with AOC and had a big old shindig. And then today you're like, I'm going to skip it. But the problem is between Muslim and Jews, and it has been for a long time. I think it's a really bad look.
I think the main story is just that this is like Zoran is kind of the first of the younger generation to like the first prominent political figure of kind of the younger generation. And stuff like this is going to become more normal. Like with my generation, the Israel issue, what good or bad is a central part of their entire, like everything in politics is intentional. So he wouldn't make that stand unless that wasn't a foundational thing of his beliefs. You know, if even he was indifferent on it, he would go, because why even, like Allison said, that's just really risky to put your neck on the line and not go. So I just think this is going to be the first of many for years to come in terms of new politicians and their stances on Israel. But then also I have the question, kind of like what Allison said, like I understand New York has a massive Jewish population, but an Israel Day parade, like,
hey,
it's just, I don't, and I'm not saying like I'm against it, but that's just kind of like do we have a Irish Day parade? Do we have you know what I mean? It's,
they do.
So I don't know. But then the question is, would they have thrown as big of a fit over if he didn't go to the Irish Day parade? Like that's I understand why. Obviously, I'm not, because it's such a polarized issue. Like I understand why it's such a big deal, but do you know what I mean? Like those are the questions that people are going to start asking. It's just going to become more of an issue. But I just think this is going to be more. There's going to be a lot more of this in years to come in politics.
I think because the Jews in New York feel under threat because people are constantly protesting against them and for Palestine, for example, or pro-Hamas, and he lets those things happen, that they wanted to see if he supported them at all. And I think he's making that clear. That's the problem.
But they voted for him. Like, do you not remember all the coalition, all of the photo ops between the Jewish community and Mamdani? I mean, like, I guess I'm kind of like, I don't know what they thought would happen when you vote for a communist Islamist. Like what?
They're not grounded in reality. And now they're having meetings in the park and they're having rallies against some of his policies. But exactly, what did you think was going to happen? But I do think it does set a precedent. And is this going to be the way forward?
I don't think any elected official has any obligation to do anything, though. Really.
They don't.
You have consequences for what you do and don't do, but I don't.
They don't, but I think this is going to be a huge deal. This is not going to go away because there's hundreds of years of beef between Muslims and Jews. So I'm interested to see what happens. But more than that, I'm interested because he's such an out and out socialist / communist that, again, what did people think was going to happen?
He kind of deserves whatever he gets.
Yeah, he does. And like, what do we think is going to happen? They never have a hard time saying and doing what they mean. Meanwhile, we're always back here going, well, I don't know. We don't lead when we have the opportunity. That's the part to me. And I don't mean respect, but like at least he's consistent. But people of New York, what did you think was going to happen? It's not good. It's not good. So,
yeah, it's like electing a Christian to office and then being surprised when they do Christian things.
Right. Exactly.
Well, and to be honest with you, I think it's a lot of people outside of New York that have more of a problem with it than the people in New York. The people in New York obviously voted for Zoran and his stances on Israel because they support it. So I think it's the national pro-Israel crowd that has more of an issue with it than a lot of New Yorkians. Is that correct? New Yorkians? Is that
New
correct?
Yorkers.
Whatever.
New Yorkers.
I create if it's not.
The aliens.
But yeah, so I think, I mean, I'm not saying there's not Jewish people in New York that aren't upset, but obviously, like you said, if they voted for him, obviously they vastly support him. So I think it's the outside of New York national that has more of an issue with it than. And I don't know. I don't have much of a like. I kind of expected that. When I saw it, I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
But my first thought was this is going to be an issue for many years to come. Or not an issue, but this is going to be a stand that a lot more of the future politicians are going to make their die on this hill stand, the Israel situation.
Well, and you would think for the people who are now upset, whereas before they cast their vote, they did have a breakdown of the people who voted for Zoran, and it were people that were not native to this country. So you need to go and examine that as well, because that's also a problem. The whole replacement theory. Here's your sign to do something about immigration. That's the other part of this. So beyond that, our eyes are back on Alabama.
Yeah, can we go to a lighter note of this judge?
Oh my word. Allison, hold on.
The only thing I caught was Buffy.
Yeah.
Walking Buffy.
So here we go. We're going to just read about this.
She's really pretty.
She's so pretty.
There's that for her.
But here are the complaints from her, and it's been kind of all over. JP, do you have any stories?
I've got an article here.
What's her name?
Yeshiba Blanchard.
Yeah.
And she's a judge in Jefferson County.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
For what? What kind of judge?
Oh, there it is.
She's a probate judge.
Oh.
Or was a probate judge.
Yeah.
Let's see. And I have an article here from 1819 News.
Okay, good. I've got the same one.
So Jefferson County saw, this is from April Marie Fogel. Jefferson County saw record-breaking Democratic primary turnout, but one candidate for State House District 57 has filed suit alleging that shenanigans may have been at play in her race, including an alleged bribery attempt by suspended Judge Yeshiba Blanchard, conflicts of interest by Blanchard, and illegal curbside voting and more. It says that Blackman alleges in her suit that in mid-January, Blanchard invited her to dinner and during that interaction offered to refund her campaign-related funds if she withdrew from the race against incumbent state rep Patrick Sellers. But it says that the suit also states that Blanchard hired and employed two of Sellers' sisters. I didn't know this part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this was the suit that I think Blanchard was already suspended on other complaints when this happened, maybe.
Well, where does Buffy come in?
Here,
it's her dog.
The suspension highlights the fact that she was delaying cases for walking her dog, and that she was saying racist things to other people and saying that she was the ultimate authority. But I didn't know the aspect of the story about the house race there.
I didn't know about the house race. I just knew about the dog delaying cases, making racial statements against, a white person. She withheld judgments for people who were in hospitals. I mean, she does not need to be sitting on the bench. And from what I understand, it's nearly impossible to get a judge suspended. So she is in a lot of trouble for what she did. And then to go on and post pictures of yourself like mogging in front of the camera. Hey, that was pretty good.
Was she mogging with a furry?
Look at that. Look at that mogging. She is so mogging.
Yeah, So, and how does this ties into redistricting somehow? What was the deal with that? Because you've got an election that would affect the special elections have to go through the probate. Okay, so this is just a mess.
So yeah, the 120 page complaint filed by the Judicial Inquiry Commission against Blanchard. It says that she ran the probate court in an incompetent and unprofessional manner, routinely targeting attorneys and staff and manufacturing a backlog that created havoc and involuntary commitments, like walking her dog, I guess. The commission charges Blanchard with pattern and practice of failing to diligently discharge judicial duties and patterns and practice of failing to follow the law. She made claims that, she was the ultimate authority. She has no boss, making racist statements to white individuals.
She
also-
weaponized law enforcement in the bar. She's filed unfounded police reports and state bar complaints against local attorneys she had friction with. She was a bully. And then, of course, the docket neglect. So she didn't manage her caseload, like you said. But this is.
But was her dog's name really Buffy?
Yeah, we think so.
No. Well, oh, wait.
Are we sure it's not Buffy? I thought that.
No, Amy
Okay.
Beth.
My
named it
dog's name
Buffy.
is Buffy. You named her Fufu.
Yeah, because Amy Beth wanted to put up a tweet about it, and I said you should call it Fufu.
Okay, so I saw your tweet. That's the only thing I saw about this whole thing was she had to walk Buffy. So I thought there was a Buffy.
Yeah, it was true. So she postponed hearings to walk her dogs and repeatedly made racist white comments toward whites. Good grief.
I
Just
thought black people
good.
couldn't be racist.
No.
Well, here's the
They
other
can't
part of
be.
it.
They're above that.
Blanchard apparently she was indifferent to staff who requested a transfer back to Birmingham, including a woman who said the move added 40 minutes to her commute and made it more difficult for her to spend time with her sister who was dying of cancer. And she was indifferent to that. And I guess didn't she die of cancer?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And she
died.
wasn't able to be with her.
She should never, ever be allowed to be a judge again. Like ban her permanently.
Who decides what happens to her?
Good question. JP, what happens to her?
I have no idea.
Guys.
I
We
don't
need
know
to
who
know.
does who
The case will be presided over
Thank
by
you.
the Court of the Judiciary, a court of 9 judges and attorneys, currently led by Judge William Cole of the Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals. Proceedings before the Court of Judiciary operate like a court hearing. The Judicial Inquiry Commission will act as a prosecutor in this setting, making its case heard before the court. Blanchard would then have the opportunity to defend against the allegations in the complaint, and the Court of the Judiciary has the authority to remove a judge from office, suspend without pay, or censor judges for misconduct.
we're going to live report.
Okay.
If it's public, we're going. I got to see this woman
Free
in action.
Fufu.
I mean, look, one thing's true.
Or Buffy.
She's going to look
That's the
fabulous
opposite.
in court.
We had to go to the probate judge's office in after the election when we went through the ballot accounting certificates, and I can't remember his name. He was so nice and so helpful and so knowledgeable, like the total opposite of
That's
her.
this lady.
So don't assume they're all like that, but that's bad.
Bless it.
Wonder who
I
she's
do like
related
her hat.
to.
I like her hat a lot. In
Her
that one
nails.
picture. Yeah.
Her makeup was really pretty.
Flawless.
Some would say
But hey,
she's a biscuit.
you got to do what's right, lady.
Don't take the job if you don't want to do it.
That's so true.
I say that so often.
All right, JP. Can we do Clown World?
Do you want to go ahead and get into Clown World?
Let's get into Clown World because I have no idea what you're going to have for us.
All right, well, let's get into Clown World.
Dear God, if there is a MAGA God, please let Pam Bondi's throat cancer be the worst case of cancer anybody's ever seen. Please let her have to take on the suffering that she's unleashed upon the thousands, millions, dare I say, of Americans in this country.
Stop it. Get some help.
Selflessness and solidarity. And most importantly, we renew our commitment to our
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Did you ever see signs that he was falling into cognitive decline?
No.
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 Truly.
No.
I don't believe you.
Every one of our neighbors with a uterus became the property of the state. One of our neighbors with the uterus to be able to control their own body. Our neighbors with a uterus. One of our neighbors with the uterus.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks! So then you get a guy who was on a reality show, who's on a lot of reality shows. His profession is to be the screaming jerk on reality shows. And his house burns down. And even though he had no private insurance on his house and doesn't believe in climate change, he is understandably upset about his house burning down. And he starts to think, I should be mayor, which is a statement that should make everyone laugh.
Hey, pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
He's talking about Spencer Pratt, by the way.
Blowing from Stupid Town.
So he's claiming that Spencer Pratt's house went down in a fire, and he still doesn't believe in climate change, and that disqualifies him from being mayor.
Did he miss the part where those fires were probably purposeful? Also, they had no water in the reservoir.
I thought it was the space lasers.
The aliens.
I mean, I gotta use the blow-in from Stupid Town. I just.
What is a neighbor with a uterus?
A woman. That's his. He doesn't want to say a woman, so he's saying a neighbor with a uterus.
This should be the response.
He said it in different settings. So, like, is a neighbor his actual neighbor?
No, like that's his way.
Like
of
my
calling
friends with a uterus.
Yeah, like instead of saying Allison's a woman, he would say Allison's a neighbor with a uterus. Amy Beth, a neighbor with a uterus.
I object to so much of what
I'm a neighbor
is
with a
in that
non-uterus.
And
statement.
yet he is going to do extremely well in this race.
Yeah.
Because he has the pastor moniker behind him. You did see, Allison, that in his library at his church, he has LGBTQ materials and pornographic material that were like for kids, right? Like it's sick.
Kiddie porn?
The man is sick.
Like we have in our libraries and schools here?
Yeah.
I love when Amy Beth wasn't here. When Allison was interviewing John Wall, the former chair of the Alabama Public Library Board, and she said kiddie porn, and she goes, "Well, technically it's not kiddie porn." And John goes, "Yeah, let's not call it that.
Let's find another phrase."
Yes,
It's
let's not
just
call-
so it catches your attention as it should, because the crap is so bad. But why would a pastor have you're a false prophet. You're a fake. You're a liar. You are scary.
Well, we
and everybody
spent
needs to run.
about a whole segment this week breaking down Tallarico's claims about the Bible being silent on abortion. What was the other one? About his vegan campaign.
Yes.
So we spent a good bit this week debunking Tallarico's, especially the abortion claim about how the Bible, Jesus is silent on abortion. The Bible is silent on abortion. So when that is the case, then we just trust the women.
You know how,
or the neighbors with uterus. Sorry.
Do you know why he's going to get away with all these dumb things? Because if you look at I think it's the Pew and the R.C. Sproul's ministry, they do 10-year-old surveys each 10 years. Biblical illiteracy is so profound in this country. Most who hear that, who are already for him, will be like, yeah, he's right. So they don't read what's in the book. They have one, but they don't read it.
And on what planet, though, do you think that you don't have to know that? I feel like there's something in you that instinctively goes, kiddie porn just doesn't seem right.
But if you're going to this fake church of his, as not just his, but they're littered around the country, and you don't even know what the Bible says, they may not know that the kiddie porn is in the library, but they are already in agreement with what he teaches, and they think it's okay because they're depraved.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm going to be sickened by is just how many people cast votes for this lunatic. I know there's a better word for it, but I'm pretty sure we can't say it on the air.
Well,
but he's a loon. Yeah. He's a loon masquerading as a candidate and a pastor. And it makes me sick.
Well, I can tell you, I know he's a threat because, I'm reaching the point where some of my friends or old friends or old people I went to high school with are catching on to what I'm doing. And one of them reached out. I was a good friend with this guy in high school. We weren't like best friends, but we were friends. We played video games together a lot. He reached out to me. We don't talk normally. And he saw some of the stuff I was saying and posting, my columns, and he sent me a long text. He wasn't being mean, but he was wanting to talk. And he had he had an issue. He felt like the stances I was taking on abortion and immigration and such wasn't very Christian-like, and that my rhetoric wasn't very Christian-like. But he specifically said that he wanted me to check out James Tallarico, because he was somebody who is a Christian, wears his faith on his sleeve was the exact term he used, and yet is friendly and kind and all of this sort of things. But that was the specific guy he referenced of, look, here's a Christian who's a nice Christian, and he's a tolerant Christian. And maybe you should be more like James Tallarico. Yeah. And that's somebody I went to Christian high school with. We went through Christian school together, and we're taught sound doctrine through Christian school together. And that, yeah. So I can tell you he's a threat, because the appeal is people who are Christians and people who aren't Christians, who want Christianity to be what they want it to be. And they want it to be squishy and kind and tolerant. So when you have somebody like Tallarico, who has a facade of a pastor and tells you, you can make Christianity whatever you want. You want to kill your baby? Jesus, he didn't say anything about that. You want to be gay? He doesn't say anything about that. You want to do it. So then everything is okay. Well, Christianity is whatever I want it to be. How convenient. And then that's what the appeal is with them, because you got people who don't want to actually submit to Christianity. And wait, you're saying I can just do whatever I want and still be a Christian? That's the appeal. But that's also shameful on his part, because he's a wolf in sheep's clothing and he knows better.
Satan knew the Bible really well. That's all I can think of, is like, that really doesn't mean you are who you are. Wow. That's scary.
This is going to be really scary. Honestly, we got to watch that, because whatever Texas does, I think New York and Texas, California, those are the places to watch, because they put their tribal-ins out there first. And this is the first massive candidate that you have that you think, how could people even consider him? And yet they are. So that'll be interesting.
I want to briefly talk about AOC wearing a hijab or a hair cover after protesting about my body, my choice, and women empowerment.
Ha 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 ha. Boy.
Yeah. That second clip, the audience was really enthused.
They were audibly talking over her.
They were hanging on every word. What do you mean?
Why would they sit there? You know, like, I would think you'd get in trouble for that.
I don't know.
You can't sit there and listen to a woman, Karen, lecture you from stage.
They just, man.
It is. I will continue to be baffled by the pro-feminists that are pro-Islam. It's like,
do you really not know? It's awful. It's awful.
Person.
I'm trying to think what the other clip there was.
The other clip was Pam Bondi and the person wishing that she has really terrible cancer.
Does she have throat cancer?
She came out 2 days ago. She has been battling thyroid cancer.
Thyroid cancer.
So right there, my mother-in-law had that. It's not any fun.
When did she find out?
Terrible person.
I don't know.
Is that why she left?
It's been a while.
I don't think it's why she left. I didn't look and see when she got diagnosed, but she told CNN that she's been battling thyroid cancer.
Isn't that weird? So
heart.
she's got thyroid cancer. Susie Wiles has breast cancer. And then
Tulsi Gabbard's
husband with bone cancer. It's weird. It does come in threes, but it's awful for all of them. And I'm sorry.
Well, if you're Tucker Carlson, you'll claim that dissidents of Trump get cancer.
Yep.
Because he has a spell on them.
Oh, that makes sense.
Well, that was him. And somebody else came out and said, I got cancer after hanging out with Trump.
But then his things, well, I'm just asking questions. Isn't that weird?
Until he gets cancer himself, and then he realizes how not fun any of those conjectures are. It's pretty wretched. Finally, Jill Biden lying through her teeth. That was the Pinocchio moment of the entire decade. Okay, there have been more than that. But I mean,
it's up there.
She sent him out on stage.
No, I've never seen him like that before.
Well, she said that, yeah, she hasn't seen him have cognitive decline, but then she also said later in the interview she was worried he was actually having a stroke on the debate stage with Trump.
Why didn't she run out there and grab him then?
Yeah, and after
she took him to
Waffle House.
Yeah. Hey, you're having a stroke, but let's go get scattered and covered and diced. It'll be fun.
And I'll be like, you answered all the questions. You did everything.
Yeah. My son, you did such a good job.
As he's standing there like.
I mean, he just was like, do I turn now? Is this my wife talking to me?
Which way do I go?
Listen, I hope he enjoyed Waffle House. It's a delicious place. We went there on Mother's Day.
Such a lot. That's funny.
That was really good.
Proud of you.
Yeah, Jill Biden, giant Pinocchio.
Would you rather always have to hop like a kangaroo or waddle like a penguin?
Hop like a kangaroo. I waddled when I was pregnant. No, thank you.
Yeah, you'd have really good legs if you hopped everywhere.
It's true. It's a good point.
Would you rather have hands for feet or feet for hands?
We've done this one before. I can't remember what I said.
Have we?
Yeah, I think hands for feet because we said we wanted thumbs.
Yeah.
That
Oh, yeah.
I agree with that. That's
If
good.
you had feet for hands, you
Yeah.
I guess
yeah.
you could.
Yeah, give me hands
Clap.
for feet. I'll just be
Yeah.
like a monkey.
Y'all have a great weekend. It's supposed to rain all weekend. Maybe that's fun. Maybe movie naps.
The
rest up.
documentary Crash. Y'all watch it.
Crash.
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 About a teenage girl crashing her car on purpose. Or not.
Dun dun dun.
It's perfect for a rainy day.
Watch it. We'll be back Monday. See y'all then.